Maria was a quiet woman who lived a simple life in a small town. She didn't have many friends, and most people hardly noticed her. She worked as a janitor at the local school, cleaning classrooms, hallways, and the cafeteria. Every day, Maria woke up early, wore her plain clothes, and went to work. She never talked much to anyone because she was shy and believed that keeping to herself was the best way to live. People in the town often thought of Maria as just a simple woman, someone who did her job quietly and did not have anything special about her. They didn't know her story or the skills she had hidden deep inside. At the school, the teachers and staff barely paid attention to her. They saw her as just the lady who cleaned their messes. Some even thought it was funny to joke about her, making little comments about how simple and ordinary she was. One day, the school decided to have a picnic. All the teachers and staff were excited. It was a day for fun, games, and food. Everyone was supposed to bring something to eat to share with others. The teachers started talking about what they would cook. Most of them were bringing simple snacks and dishes like sandwiches and chips. As the day went closer, some of the teachers started teasing Maria. They knew she was quiet and didn't cook much, or so they thought. A few of them laughed and said, "Hey Maria, why don't you cook something for the picnic? Maybe show us what you can do." They said it as a joke, thinking she wouldn't be able to cook anything good. Some even whispered behind her back, saying it would be funny to see her try. Maria heard the jokes, but she didn't get angry or upset. She smiled quietly and said, "Okay, I will bring something." No one expected her to actually cook a dish, and many thought she might just bring some store-bought food to save face. The day of the picnic arrived, and everyone gathered in the schoolyard with their food. The teachers set up tables filled with their dishes. They talked, laughed, and waited to taste each other's cooking. Then Maria came with a large, covered tray. It looked simple, and no one paid much attention at first. When Maria uncovered the tray, a wonderful smell filled the air. It was different from all the other food, rich, spicy, and warm. The dish was a beautiful biryani, full of colorful spices, rice, and tender pieces of chicken. Alongside it, she had homemade chutneys that added sweet and tangy flavors. Finally, she brought a soft, sweet dessert, carefully arranged. The teachers stopped their conversations and looked at Maria's food. One by one, they tasted the biryani. Their faces changed, from surprise to delight. The flavors were amazing, full of careful preparation and skill. No one expected such a delicious dish from Maria. The quiet janitor had shocked them all. They asked her, "Where did you learn to cook like this?" Maria only smiled and said softly, "I have cooked for many years." The teachers looked at each other, now curious and respectful. The joke stopped, and they realized they had made a mistake. Maria's cooking was not just good, it was extraordinary. It was clear that someone had spent a lot of time learning and practicing the art of cooking. The teachers started praising her openly and asking for more. Maria quietly enjoyed the moment but didn't say much. She didn't want the attention, but deep down she felt proud. What the teachers did not know was that Maria's life had not always been this quiet. She had a past full of achievements and challenges. Before becoming a janitor, she was a champion, cook, winning many competitions. But she had left that world behind after a tragedy. The accident that changed her life also made her step away from cooking professionally. At the picnic, those moments were just the beginning of a new chapter. Maria's simple life was about to change because of one dish she prepared as a joke. The teachers who laughed at her would soon discover the amazing story hidden beneath her calm and simple appearance. After the teachers finished their small laughs and jokes about Maria's cooking skills, they still did not expect much from her. Most of them thought she might bring something simple, maybe some bread or canned food. But Maria was ready to surprise them all. On the day of the school picnic, Maria woke up early as usual, but this time with a special plan in her mind. She went to her small kitchen in her cozy little home. She had decided to prepare a very special dish, biryani. It was not just any biryani, but one that carried years of her skill, knowledge, and love for cooking. She also prepared some fresh chutneys, which are spicy, tangy sauces made from fruits and herbs, and a delicate sweet dessert that she had perfected over many years. Maria had kept her cooking skills hidden for so long because she thought no one would understand or appreciate them. Now, when the teachers had asked her to cook, even if it was as a joke, she saw an opportunity to share a part of herself. She carefully cooked the biryani, stirring the fragrant rice and spices slowly, making sure every grain was perfect. The aroma filled her kitchen, reminding her of the competitions she had won and the joyful moments she had spent cooking for large crowds. The chutneys were vibrant in color, made with fresh ingredients she had grown in her small garden. The dessert was soft and sweet, decorated beautifully on a plate. When Maria arrived at the picnic with the tray covered by a cloth, many of the teachers were still talking and laughing, not paying much attention to her. But the moment she uncovered the tray, the smell was impossible to ignore. The rich scent of spices mixed with warm rice floated through the air, catching everyone's noses. One teacher stopped mid-sentence and took a deep breath. Another looked over, curious. Slowly the chatter stopped, and all eyes turned to Maria's food. They began to taste the biryani first. At first they were cautious, not sure what to expect. But as soon as they took their first bite, their expressions changed. The rice was perfectly cooked, fluffy but not mushy. The spices were balanced, not too strong, not too mild. The chicken was tender and juicy, full of flavor. "It's delicious," one teacher said, surprised. Another nodded in agreement. "This is the best biryani I have ever tasted," said another, his eyes wide with amazement. They moved on to taste the chutneys. The chutneys added a burst of flavor, sweet, sour, spicy, and fresh, all at once. They made the biryani taste even better. The teachers began to ask questions about the ingredients and how Maria had made them. Finally, they tried the dessert. It was soft, sweet, and perfectly balanced, a lovely way to finish the meal. The teachers were amazed. They could not believe that Maria, the quiet woman who cleaned their school, had made all this food. They looked at her differently now. Some even felt embarrassed for having laughed at her before. One brave teacher asked, "Maria, where did you learn to cook like this? Your food is amazing. You must have trained for years." Maria smiled gently but did not say much. She was happy to share her food but did not want to talk about her past. The teachers started to talk among themselves. They wondered how someone like Maria could have such skill. They realized that they had judged her wrongly. She was not just a simple woman but someone with great talent. As the picnic continued, more people came to taste Maria's food. Everyone praised her dishes. Some even asked for seconds. The picnic became a celebration of Maria's cooking rather than just a regular school event. Maria felt proud but calm. She enjoyed seeing people happy because of her food. It reminded her why she loved cooking in the first place. This day was special. It was the first time many people saw the real Maria. Not just a janitor, but a woman with a rich history and amazing talent. The teachers promised themselves to be kinder and more respectful to Maria from now on. They had learned an important lesson about judging people by their appearance. After the picnic, Maria's cooking became a topic of conversation in the town. People started to ask her for recipes and advice. She became a quiet star in the community. But Maria was not interested in fame or attention. She just wanted to share her love of cooking and help others enjoy good food. The picnic was only the beginning. Maria's life was about to change in ways she never expected. The simple woman who was once laughed at had shown the world her true self through the magic of food. After the picnic, the teachers and staff couldn't stop talking about Maria's cooking. It was no longer just a simple school joke. Something was different. Maria, the quiet janitor, had shocked everyone with her amazing culinary skills. The more they thought about it, the more curious they became. Who was this woman really? How did she learn to cook so well? Why had she kept it hidden? One of the teachers, Mrs. Alvarez, was especially curious. She was known for being very detail-oriented and a bit nosy, but in a good way. She wanted to know more about Maria's story. Maybe there was something special behind her cooking talent. She thought if she could learn more, maybe she could help Maria share her skills with others. One afternoon, Mrs. Alvarez decided to use the internet to search for information about Maria. She typed in Maria's full name in the search engine and hit enter. At first nothing much appeared, just the school website showing her as a janitor. But Mrs. Alvarez kept digging, clicking on links, checking social media and looking for anything connected to Maria. Then she found something that stopped her in her tracks. There was an article on a cooking magazine's website about a woman named Maria, who had won multiple cooking competitions in different countries. There were photos of Maria wearing chef's whites, holding shiny trophies, and standing on stages, with big smiles. The photos looked like the same woman who cleaned the school. Mrs. Alvarez's heart raced as she read the article. The article said that Maria was once a famous chef who had won 10 regional and national culinary championships over the years. She was known for her incredible skill, creativity, and dedication to traditional recipes passed down from her family. The article described her as a rising star in the culinary world, someone everyone respected and admired. Mrs. Alvarez could hardly believe it. She called a few other teachers and showed them the pictures and article. They were just as surprised. No one had any idea that Maria had this amazing past. It was like discovering a hidden treasure in their own school. As the news spread quietly among the staff, people began to understand why Maria's cooking had been so extraordinary at the picnic. This wasn't just a simple woman who had learned to cook at home. She was a professional chef with years of experience and awards. But there was still one big question. Why was Maria working as a janitor instead of cooking in a restaurant or on TV? To find answers, some teachers decided to gently ask Maria about her past. Maria was quiet at first but slowly began to share her story with those she trusted. She told them that years ago, she had been a proud chef, traveling around the world for competitions. But then she suffered a terrible accident that changed everything. It was a car accident that injured her badly and took away her chance to continue cooking professionally. Not only did she get hurt, but she also lost someone very close to her during that difficult time. The pain and grief made her step away from the culinary world and live a quieter life. She wanted to forget the past and focus on simple things like cleaning and living day by day. Maria explained that cooking had always been her passion, but after what happened, she needed to heal, both physically and emotionally. She never wanted to return to the spotlight or compete again because it reminded her of the pain she went through. The teachers listened carefully, feeling deep respect and sympathy for Maria. They realized that her quietness was not because she was shy or simple, but because she carried a lot of pain inside. Her humility and kindness made her even more admirable. Now, understanding her background, the school staff wanted to support Maria. They encouraged her to share her cooking skills with others and not hide her talent anymore. Some suggested organizing cooking classes or inviting Maria to cook for special events. Maria was touched by the kindness but remained humble. She said she wanted to take small steps and share her love for cooking in a way that felt comfortable to her. As the days passed, Maria began to open up more. She shared some of her recipes with the teachers and even started to teach a few students how to cook during lunch breaks. Her cooking became more than just food. It became a way to heal, connect, and inspire. The discovery of her past also changed how the community saw her. No longer was she just the janitor. She was a woman of great talent and courage. Her story became a symbol of strength and hope for many. Maria's life was no longer hidden in the shadows. The accident and pain she had faced did not define her. Instead, her passion, resilience, and generosity shone brighter than ever. The journey was just beginning. With the school's support and the community's newfound respect, Maria was ready to embrace her true self once again. Her story was one of quiet triumph, showing that even the simplest people could carry the greatest talents inside. After the discovery of Maria's past, everything began to change. The teachers and staff who once laughed at her were now filled with respect and admiration. They saw her not just as the quiet janitor, but as a woman with a rich and inspiring history. The atmosphere around Maria shifted. People smiled at her differently, spoke to her more kindly, and even asked for her advice on cooking. Maria, however, remained humble. She never boasted or acted proud. Instead, she quietly accepted the new respect, grateful but cautious. She had lived a life filled with pain and loss, and she was careful not to let the past hurt her again. But deep inside, something was awakening. A spark of joy and hope that had been hidden for a long time. One day, the school principal, Mr. Thompson, called Maria into his office. He had heard about her cooking from many teachers and students and wanted to talk to her. Mr. Thompson was a kind man, always looking for ways to make the school a better place for everyone. "Maria," he said gently, "we all realize how special your cooking is. The teachers and students love it. I want to ask if you would like to share your skills more often. Maybe you could teach some cooking classes here at school?" Maria thought about it. Teaching cooking was not something she had planned, but it felt right. She wanted to help others learn, especially children who might never have a chance to cook at home. Cooking was more than just food for her. It was a way to bring people together and to heal. She agreed to give it a try. The school arranged a small cooking workshop during the weekends. Maria carefully planned what she would teach. She wanted to start with simple recipes that anyone could make, even if they had never cooked before. Her first class was small, just a few curious students and parents who wanted to learn. Maria stood quietly in the school kitchen, surrounded by pots, pans, spices, and ingredients. At first, the students looked nervous. They had never met a real chef before, and Maria didn't look like the chefs they had seen on TV. But as she began to teach, her calm and gentle voice put them at ease. She showed them how to wash vegetables, chop onions safely, and mix spices to create flavors. She explained why cooking was important, not just for hunger, but for love and happiness. The students listened carefully, watching her hands move skillfully as she cooked. Over time, more people joined Maria's classes. Word spread through the town about the quiet janitor who was now teaching cooking lessons. Parents brought their children, young adults came eager to learn, and even some teachers decided to join. The small workshop grew into a community gathering. Maria enjoyed the classes more than she had expected. Teaching reminded her of the joy she once felt when competing in cooking contests. But this time it was different. She wasn't trying to win trophies or impress judges. She was helping people connect and learn. The students loved Maria's stories too. She shared memories from her past, about cooking contests, the smells of spices from her childhood, and the special recipes passed down from her family. Her stories made the lessons interesting and alive. Through teaching, Maria found healing. The pain of her past did not disappear, but she learned to live with it. Cooking became a way to face the world again with hope and strength. The school decided to organize special events where Maria could cook for everyone. At school fairs, holiday celebrations, and community dinners, Maria's dishes became the highlight. People would line up eagerly for her food, sharing smiles and stories. The teachers who had once mocked her now proudly introduced Maria to others. They apologized for their past behavior and thanked her for sharing her gift. Maria accepted their apologies with grace, never holding a grudge. Slowly, the town began to see Maria as a local hero, not for fame or awards, but for kindness, humility, and talent. Children called her Chef Maria with affection, and parents appreciated her dedication. Maria also began to think about her future. She had kept her talent hidden for so long, but now she realized it was time to embrace who she was. She didn't want to return to the competitive cooking world, but she wanted to keep teaching and sharing. One day, a local journalist heard about Maria's story and wanted to write an article. Maria agreed, hoping it would inspire others who felt hidden or forgotten. The article told about her past, her accident, and her new life as a teacher and mentor. After the article was published, more people reached out to Maria. Some asked her to cook for special occasions, others invited her to community centers and schools. But Maria chose carefully. She wanted to keep her life simple and focused on helping those around her. Her cooking classes became a safe place for people to gather, learn, and find joy. Single parents, children, and seniors all came together, sharing stories and meals. Maria's kitchen was more than just a place to cook. It was a place of friendship and hope. Maria often thought about the picnic when the teachers first tasted her food. It was a turning point in her life. From being laughed at, she had become someone who inspired many. Her journey showed that true talent and kindness can never stay hidden forever. Sometimes, it takes just one moment, one chance, to change everything. Maria's story was not just about cooking. It was about courage, forgiveness, and the power of sharing what you love. She had faced pain and loss but found a new way to shine, not in the spotlight, but in the hearts of those she touched. Maria's life had changed in ways she had never expected. From the quiet janitor who was laughed at, she had become a beloved figure in her community. People no longer saw her as just a simple woman. They saw her as a kind-hearted mentor, a talented chef, and a source of inspiration. Even with the newfound attention, Maria remained humble and grounded. She didn't want fame or money. Instead, she wanted to use her skills to help those around her. She began opening free weekend cooking classes, inviting children, single parents, and anyone interested to come and learn. Her kitchen became a safe, welcoming place where people could come together to share stories, laughter, and delicious food. At first, not many people knew about the classes, but as word spread, more and more people joined. Parents brought their kids, young people wanting to learn new skills came, and even some older people looking for something fun to do found their way to Maria's kitchen. Everyone was treated with kindness and respect. Maria's classes were not just about cooking recipes. She taught the importance of patience, creativity, and love in every dish. She encouraged her students to experiment, to be proud of their work, and to never be afraid to try new things. Cooking, she said, was like life, full of surprises, challenges, and rewards. The local community began to support her in many ways. Some donated ingredients, others helped clean the kitchen, and a few even offered small funds to help her buy equipment. Maria never asked for these things, but she was grateful for the support. The town's newspapers and radio stations told her story, sharing how a woman once overlooked was now bringing people together through food. Maria became a symbol of hope and resilience. She reminded everyone that everyone has hidden talents and that kindness and hard work could change lives. Despite the attention, Maria refused offers to appear on television or open a fancy restaurant. She wanted to keep her life simple and focused on the people she cared about. To her, cooking was a gift to be shared freely, not a way to gain fame. Her weekend classes continued to grow, and she sometimes invited her former students to help teach new ones. This created a cycle of learning and sharing that strengthened the community bonds. Maria's past achievements were no longer just trophies in a cabinet. They had become stories she told to inspire others, showing that even after setbacks, one could rise again. Her journey was a reminder that greatness often comes quietly, and that true champions are those who use their gifts to lift others up. Maria had become a quiet legend in her town, not for her titles, but for her heart and spirit. She showed that a simple woman could make a powerful difference just by sharing her love and skill with others. Her story touched many lives and continued to inspire long after the cooking classes ended each weekend. Maria's life was a beautiful, Example of strength, humility, and the magic of food to bring people together.